think that attacking-wise, our team is super forceful, powerful, one of the best attacking groups in the world. And I think we're very confident in that. And I think that as you progress in this tournament, there's always going to be added pressure. And the group has historically and is doing a great job of flipping that pressure on its head and using it as motivation, inspiration to keep pushing forward for better performances and continued good results.
How do you think this game against England, how do you think this game against England will differ from the one against France? Do you think France will be tougher?
I think that the match ahead is always the match that you're focused on, and each opponent has like varied strengths. I think when you're playing the host country, there was a lot of just buzz around the game that made it feel very emotional and very intense. But that naturally happens in a semifinal. It's boiled down to 4 teams. The stakes are so high, and I think the way this team looks at it is nothing in the past matters unless we win the next 2 games.
Hi, James at WWC. The England's head coach, Phil Neville, has described Lucy Bronze as the best player in the world. Do you agree?
I think Lucy Bronze is a fantastic player, and she's having a fantastic tournament.
Who do you think is the best player in the world?
That is not for me to decide or think about. I think that as a player, I'm in the World Cup to play, to scout my opponents so that we can win games and have results. And I think that's for you guys, the media and the fans, to talk about and have fun with. I think that the early goals do represent how prepared we are going into these games, how excited we are. In the beginning of the tournament, we were kind of the last game of every round, and I think that there was a buildup and an excitement that's carried with us into the starts of matches. And I think other than that, we do have a very potent attack, and we're trying to get a lot of goals, trying to get in the goal zone.
Hi, Christen Press from Sky Sports in the UK. Do you see a little bit of yourselves in the England team, some of their attributes, pace, power, athleticism, fitness, tactical astuteness? If you do, could you maybe sort of elaborate on that a bit? And also, how do you stop them? Because you may not have faced a team that is almost a mirror image of yourselves.
Interesting. I think that there are obviously some similarities, but there are always similarities between teams. And I think the big one that you pointed out was the speed and the physicality of the match. But I do think that we have different systems, different tactics, different players, and actually different strengths, especially in the way that we attack, in the way that we combine to get into the goal. I think that's where I would see the biggest differences. And I think that for our group, staying focused to how we have been historically successful and how we've been successful through this tournament is really important.
So it must be really special. 4 years ago, you don't see this buzz around you. You face a French team that the media talked about. It was a packed stadium. It's going to happen again. You have media all over the world covering. How does it feel as a women's footballer to see the growth of women's soccer and to have a tournament like this and all this media and attention?
Yeah, I think that this World Cup has been fantastic. It's been so much fun, and we don't really get to step back and look at it in that way quite so much when we're in it. But I do have that sense that it's bigger and it's better than the last tournament, and that's super important. And that's not just the facilities and the stadiums and the fans and the media, but it's also the quality of the teams that are competing. And I think that that's the other side of the game, where all of us are on the same team and we're fighting to improve the global game on the women's side, and we're doing that together. And I think this World Cup is a celebration of that progress.
You've been talking about goal scoring. The last 2 games have both been 2-1, very tense, tight, defensive, physical games. What does that say first about Alyssa and how bunch of saves she's made, and just the style of this team that it seems like it's willing to do whatever it takes here.
Yeah, I think, of course, our team's willing to do whatever it takes. We're here to win, and we haven't had any questions or hesitations about that. That's our intention. And so I think tactically, the team has been a little bit more adapting than in the past or in the friendly games that we play, and that's only natural when you're in a World Cup and the stakes are so much higher. I think a huge credit to Alyssa and our back line. It's not easy for any team that has, relied a lot on their attacking mindset and being the aggressor to defend as much as we have as in the last two games. But we did it beautifully, and it was, a force to be reckoned with, our defense, and I think that's really cool.
Given that you're the ones who are telling your stories, we're taking your words, and we're kind of shaping the narrative, how important is it to you when you look out on crowds like this to see more women telling your stories, particularly women of color?
Yeah, it's so funny. No, I think it's hugely important. I think that as the game grows, we want the storytelling to grow, and we want diversity on the field. We want diversity in coaches. We want diversity in the media. I think that's hugely important, and I hope that as women and as people of color, we're all coming together and we're continuing to push boundaries, because when we do, and there's more representation, there's better stories told, there's a bigger population of people that feel heard and understood and inspired.
Both you and Sweden used a lot of players during the group stage. How important is it for you now going to the semi-finals, knowing that a lot of players haven't been playing every game?
I think that our team feels very deep and very ready, and each individual player kind of has their own journey of the World Cup that often people don't see, because the media and the world's focused on a few key players and the team. But I think our group has just done a fantastic job of doing whatever it takes to get the result, and each player has prepared themselves personally for that. And so I think, players that haven't had minutes in the last two games are ready for the next game. And the players that have been playing every minute of every game, it takes something totally different to be ready for the next game, but we are.
You've been very self-confident. Don't you think it can be dangerous to be kind of arrogant, or does it help to push you as a team?
Yeah, I don't think our team is arrogant at all. I think that our team is confident. We're respectful of our opponents, and I think the way that we respect them is by preparing for each game against, as if the opponent that we're going to play is the best in the world. And I think that on top of the level of intensity and preparation and effort that goes into each game is the best way that you respect who you're playing. And I think that confidence is beautiful, and it's something that's a big part of the U.S. Women's National Team legacy, and it's actually an important part that we really hope that our performances are help spreading to other people in the world, and that the next generation looks and sees that and feels that and carries that on.
You're obviously the reigning World Cup champions. What do you think your team has that other teams don't have?
And do you mean like over time?
Here at the World Cup.
Yeah, I think that our group is confident. I think our group has a unique ability to use pressure situations to propel us forward, to make us better. I think that we are uniquely situated to seize the biggest moments because of our personality, but also because of just the personality of the collective. It's something that is passed down to you on the team when you grow up on the U.S. Women's National Team, how to win at all costs, and how to rise to the occasion in the biggest moments. And as you get further down the tournament, the moments get bigger and bigger.
the English media has kind of had some fun with the whole hotel gate. I know Coach was asked about it. Does any of that kind of permeate down to you guys, or do you just completely block it out, especially with such a big game ahead of you?
To be honest, I can only speak for myself, and I have been completely in a bubble the whole tournament. As I mentioned before, we don't really have the luxury to enjoy some of the fanfare around the tournament because, especially just for me and the way I prepare and the way that I feel most confident about the way I can perform, is to just be super focused on the game. And I think that there will be a moment after the tournament where we look back and we see, all the drama and what all the fans are reading and hearing. But for me, it's important to be just in the present moment, experiencing what I'm experiencing, and super focused on the task at hand.